The village of Aforumo lay nestled between rolling hills and a river that shimmered like molten silver beneath the scorching sun. It was a place where the whispers of the ancestors lingered in the rustling palms and the cry of the night owl was more than just a sound. It was a message from beyond. In this village lived Omolara, a woman of grace and strength, known for her unwavering faith in the gods and her gentle spirit. Omolara was a widow. Her husband, Adikanul, had died in the Great Yam Famine 12 seasons ago, leaving her with only one child, Orba, her beloved son. Orba was the light of her life. At just 17 reigns, he was tall, strong, and full of promise. His laughter echoed like the sound of drums during the New Moon Festival, and his smile could soften the harshest of hearts. Omolara poured all her love into him, for he was not only her child but her companion, her hope, and the reason she woke each day. Life in Aforumo was harsh, yet beautiful. The people depended on the earth for survival, and every planting season was a prayer, every harvest a song. But lately, the gods seemed angry. The river had receded to a mere trickle, the yam barns were empty, and hunger prowled like a beast among the huts. The elders said the ancestors had turned their backs. Something had to be done or Aforumo would perish. It was on the third day of the Harmattan, when the dust hung heavy in the air like the breath of spirits, that the Oluwo, the chief priest of the land, summoned the villagers to the Iroko shrine. His voice thundered across the square. People of Aforumo, the earth cries. The gods are displeased. The river no longer flows, the yam no longer grows, and our children wail in hunger. Last night, the spirits spoke to me in the sacred grove. They have demanded a sacrifice, blood for blessing, life for life. The crowd murmured, fear crawling through their voices like ants on sugar. Everyone knew what such words meant. Someone must die for the land to live. Then the Oluwo raised his carved staff, the sacred Opa Ace, and declared, the oracle has spoken clearly. It is not the blood of a goat or a cow that the gods desire. No, it is the blood of a pure child, a child of promise, the only child of his mother. A hush fell over the square. Women clutched their children tightly. Men shifted uneasily. Omolara felt her heart lurch, like a drum beaten out of rhythm. She prayed silently, O Olodumare, let it not be me. But the gods had already chosen. That night, Omolara sat in her hut, staring at the flickering flame of the palm oil lamp. Orba slept peacefully on the mat beside her, his chest rising and falling like the gentle tide. She reached out and touched his hair, tears streaming down her cheeks. Why, gods, why him? Have I not suffered enough? She whispered. The words of the Oluwo echoed in her mind. The land will perish unless the blood of the chosen is spilled. If she refused, the elders would take Orba by force. But how could a mother kill her own child? Was her love for him greater than her duty to the village? All night, she wrestled with her thoughts. Sleep fled from her like a hunted antelope. At dawn, she rose and walked to the river, what was left of it, and knelt on the cracked earth. Spirits of my ancestors, she cried, if there is another way, show me. Spare my son. But the river remained silent, and the wind that blew through the raffia palms seemed to whisper only one word, blood. 3 days passed. Hunger gnawed at the village like termites on wood. The people grew restless, their eyes hollow with despair. The elders came to Omolara, their faces hard as carved masks. Omolara, said the oldest, the time has come. Do not defy the gods. The Oluwo will lead the sacrifice at the next full moon. She nodded silently, her heart splintering like dry calabash. That night, she prepared a calabash of palm wine and kola nuts, and went to the sacred grove to plead with the oracle one last time. The grove was a place where the living feared to tread after sunset. The air was thick with the smell of blood and incense. Skulls of goats and fowls littered the ground. At the center stood the Iroko shrine, its wood darkened by centuries of sacrifice. The Oluwo was there, his eyes glowing in the firelight, his body painted with white chalk. Mother of Orba, he intoned, why have you come? Omolara fell to her knees. Great One, have mercy. Spare my son. I will give anything, my life, my blood. The priest's gaze was like stone. The gods do not want your blood, woman. They want the blood of the child of promise. If you love your people, prepare him. But he is my only child, she wailed. Then let the whole village die. Let the children starve. Let the river dry until the bones of fish crack in the sun, he replied coldly. Omolara staggered back, her heart pounding. She knew then there would be no escape. The night of the full moon came like the beating of a drum of doom. The sky was clear, and the moon hung like a silver eye, watching, judging. The villagers gathered in the sacred grove, their faces lit by the glow of countless torches. Drums pounded in the distance, slow and heavy, like the heartbeat of the earth. Omolara walked in silence, her head bowed, her wrapper trailing in the dust. Beside her was Orba, his eyes wide with confusion. Mama, why do they call my name? Why do they sing like that? He asked, his voice innocent as a lamb. She could not answer. Her throat was a dry stone. At the center of the grove, before the towering Iroko tree, stood the Oluwo. He was dressed in scarlet, his body smeared with chalk and blood. In his hands, he held the sacred Ada, the ritual blade that had tasted the lives of many before. Bring the boy, he commanded. Two strong men came forward, their muscles glistening with sweat. Omolara clutched Oba's hand. For a moment, she thought of running, of fleeing into the night, into the forests beyond the hills. But where would she go? The gods would follow. The spirits would hunt her down. Slowly, she led Orba to the altar, a flat stone darkened by old blood. The boy looked at her, his eyes full of trust. Mama, I'm afraid. Those words pierced her heart like a spear. Tears streamed down her face as she kissed his forehead. Forgive me, my son, she whispered. The Oluwo raised his staff, and the drums grew louder, the chants rising like a storm. Blood for blessing, blood for rain, blood for life. The priest's voice boomed, lay him down. The men seized Orba and forced him onto the altar. He struggled, crying out for his mother, but their grip was iron. Omolara fell to her knees, clutching the earth, her nails digging into the soil until they bled. Spirits, if you have hearts, strike me instead, she cried. But the spirits were silent. The Oluwo turned to her. Come, mother, wash his body with this, he said, handing her a gourd of consecrated water. Her hands shook as she obeyed. Her tears fell on his skin, mixing with the cold, cold water. Orba whimpered softly, like a trapped bird. "Mama, why are they doing this?" She could not speak. Her tongue was a stone in her mouth. The Oluwo stepped forward, lifting the sacred blade high so that it caught the moonlight, gleaming like the fang of a beast. His voice rang out, "Great spirits of the earth, accept this blood. Let the rains return, let the yam grow fat, let the river flow once more." He placed the blade in Omolara's trembling hands. "It is you who must do it. The gods demand it from the mother." She stared at the blade, her vision swimming with tears. Her heart screamed in silence. "How can I kill my own child?" But the chants grew louder. The villagers stamped their feet, the drums roared. The spirits pressed close like shadows. "Do it," the Oluwo thundered. Orba looked at her, his eyes wide and wet. "Mama, please don't hurt me." That was the moment her soul shattered. With a cry that tore the night, she raised the blade and brought it down. The sound was soft, like the sigh of wind through leaves. Oba's body went limp. The grove fell silent, save for the crackling of torches and the sobs of a mother whose heart had died with her child. Blood pooled on the stone, steaming in the cold night. The Oluwo lifted his hands to the heavens, his voice exultant. "The sacrifice is complete. The gods are appeased." The villagers cheered, their fear melting into hope. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rolled a low rumble like the laughter of spirits. The wind changed, carrying the scent of rain. But Omolara heard nothing. She knelt in a sea of blood, cradling the lifeless body of her son, rocking back and forth, her voice a broken whisper. "Oba, my Oba, forgive me." Rain began to fall, heavy and sudden, drumming on the leaves, soaking the earth. The people danced, lifting their hands to the sky, singing songs of joy. But Omolara sat in silence, the rain washing the blood from her hands, yet never from her soul. From that day on, the river flowed, the yams grew, and Aforumo prospered. They praised Omolara as the mother who saved the land. But in the deep of the night, when the wind howled and the moon hid its face, they say her cries could still be heard wailing through the forest, mourning the child she had loved more than life itself. Some say she wandered into the hills one night and never returned. Others whisper that the gods took her, turning her into a spirit of the river, so she could weep forever in its waters. And so the tale of Omolara and Orba lived on, told by firesides and under moonlit skies. A story of love and sacrifice, of gods and men and the price one mother paid to save her people.